guys, welcome to or welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in. The theme of this episode is mother-in-laws from hell from the Just Know Mother-in-Law subreddit. All right, so let's get into it. The title of the first story is My Mother-in-Law Told Me to Throw My 2-day-old newborn in the Rubbish. Let me preface this by saying I do not post my daughter on social media. I do not have social media and haven't had it for some time now. On the other hand, my husband's family all have social media. You know, the middle-aged woman with the phone always out at events, always on live. That's my mother-in-law. Well, 2 days after my son was born, my husband was sending photos of our brand new baby to his family group chat, which I was totally fine with. I asked my husband to please let them know I wasn't comfortable with my son's photos online. So as I'm laying in bed, freshly sliced and diced, my husband starts acting funny, walking to the toilet, saying his stomach is upset and coming out with swollen eyes. I ask what's going on and he says, nothing. But I know my husband. Something was up. So I go on his phone and look at his group chat and am met with a wee novel from his mother. Her reply to this message was to take my disgusting baby and throw him in the rubbish, and why would they even want to waste their time posting such a shitty baby? She goes on to call me a dog and say that I grew up poor. How dare I set this boundary? She then wraps it up by saying, go take your wife and your baby and put them in the toilet. Yes, there were no messages leading up to this. The specific message which was sent that she replied this to said, quote, I'm going to send some photos, but don't post, please. Heart. So there I was, 2 days postpartum, rage crying with a baby attached to my breast and a mother-in-law across the country. There's also a reunion coming up, which is her side's reunion, and I told him, my husband, that he shouldn't be comfortable sitting at a table. His family are not welcome. Am I being unreasonable? No. Sorry. I don't know why I'm laughing. I think I'm laughing because it's the most that's not funny at all. That's fucked up. You should cut her off 100%. The fact that she said that is insanely wild and just like, but what do you mean? Who are you? Like, have you lost your mind? Have you genuinely lost your mind? What's going on in that brain of yours? You have the audacity to call a baby shitty and say that you need to throw it in the trash? That's something unheard of. That is something unheard of, actually. The top comment says, I hope OP that the retribution for this was swift and harsh. Blocked on everything and no contact. If anyone, and I repeat, anyone said that to me or my family, it would be done. Ties right there and then. There's no coming back from that. If your husband isn't in that camp, make it clear quick. She gets nothing from this minute on. But I also agreed that this conversation needs to be saved and shared with the entire family so they know damn well why you went no contact. I mean, didn't she send it in the group chat? Someone said, I would send the screenshots to people in the family. Ones you know would have your back because Lord knows what's going to happen there. But your husband needs to understand that someone who acts like that should never ever be around your kid and any future ones. My grandma was like this. She would knee jerk and say the worst shit if she felt anyone was trying to tell her jack shit. It could be, don't mix bleach and ammonia, basic safe chemistry, and she would tell you how you should never have been born. It screwed up all of us grandkids because our parents did that BS. That's just how she is, and keep the peace and family, because apparently the definition of family was not protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. 9 grandkids in total, all screwed up. Not a one cried when she died because those words echoed. It hurts like hell when you realize your own love and conduct is not enough to keep someone from being a terrible person that, no, they won't change for you. But it's still a parent's job to protect their child, and that includes from their own parent. I'm sorry you had to experience her BS, and I hope you and JR are recovering well. Good news is you won't forget, and hopefully you can get him on board before your kids are scarred for life. She's proven she doesn't give an F about anyone or anything beyond her own comfort, and someone like that doesn't know how to love. I mean, absolutely. That girl is insane and should never be spoken to again. And the fact that, like, if my mom did that to my brother, I would never want to speak to her either. Even if that wasn't directly said to me, like, I'd be like, oh, bye. All right, the title of the next story is, We Should Have Brought the Car Seat and Just Took Him Home with Us. I don't know why these words will never leave my head. My mother-in-law said them to her husband just hours after I gave birth. She was holding my son for the first time. My mother-in-law has crossed many boundaries, and when put in her place, she will say that we are crazy or that is not normal. When we got engaged, we stupidly decided to call her to tell her. And instead of being happy for us, she responded by saying, "Why are you engaged to her? I hardly know her." The smile strewn across my face fell to a frown. My heart was in my stomach. I thought she would be happy for us. Instead, she found a million things wrong with us getting married. Her biggest complaint was that she was not included or consulted beforehand. She did know me, by the way. I was dating her son for a few years and lived with her for many months before this. Her son and I were living in our first place when we got engaged. Definitely not a shocker that it was going to happen. When it comes to my child, boundaries are no better. I don't want to get into too much more detail because it's exhausting. She has called my boundaries with my baby crazy. She's just the typical just no mother-in-law in many ways. Tries to steal every first and be a part of everything. When she's told no, she becomes the victim and tears will ensue. 2 weeks postpartum, she called me selfish and an asshole for withholding her first grandchild. In reality, I just had mastitis. I just had mastitis. I know what that is, but I can't pronounce it. Mastitis, and was trying to cope with becoming a mom. While planning for my wedding, she called me selfish because I didn't pick the dress she picked. She asked to pick his first Christmas outfit. We said no. She said, quote, "He's my first grandchild, and this is his first Christmas. Do not ruin this for me." I asked her to ask to take my son out of my arms instead of just ripping him out, and she said that I'm weird for that, and it's her grandson. She shouldn't need to ask to take him from my arms. I'm absolutely done with this crazy bitch. Out of everything she's done, the thing that bothers me most might seem insignificant, but the hormones were raging. At the hospital after giving birth, I was very hesitant to let people visit, especially his mom. She was calling my baby her baby the entire pregnancy. I was very freaked out by her. When she came to the hospital room, she hardly looked at me. She scooped my baby up and sat down. Immediately, she says to the nurse and her husband, quote, "We should have brought the car seat and just took him home with us." I looked at my husband with daggers in my eye. These words have not left my mind since. It may seem like some silly joke, but with all the boundaries she's crossed, I don't think so. My child is 7 months, and I'm still bothered by this. Was she out of line for saying this? I'm cutting contact with her a little bit. She texts me every day and demands FaceTimes with my baby. I haven't answered her in a week. I'm not exactly looking for advice, just to rant, but I will take any advice if you have it. Every time I read a mother-in-law story, I'm always like, first of all, so grateful that I have the mother-in-law that I have. And then second of all, I don't have a mother-in-law yet, but like the mother-in-law that I'm going to have. And then second of all, I just can't even believe that people like this exist. And especially adults, you would think that like you would think that that's just like an absolute, crazy person that's lost their mind, like, or just like, it's literally rage bait at this point. Like, it is rage bait to be that way, to behave that way, and to be that terrible of a person. The top comment says, "My mother-in-law made a similar joke multiple times, and I snapped and told her it wasn't effing funny. She knows I have PPA. Effing stop it. And that if she tried it, I would not hesitate to call the police as well as chase them down." Father-in-law said, quote, "I'll take the back roads. Sir, I drive them every day for work. And if you think for one effing second I won't put you in a ditch and leave you there for the crows, you're very mistaken." They both got really quiet and handed my son back. My husband was asking the gods for patience. Someone said she was definitely 110% out of line for making that comment in the hospital. Have you and your husband discussed going no contact, or at least you and your baby going no contact? No, your husband should also be just as enraged. Like, sometimes, no, your husband should be just as enraged. Genuinely. Like, I was going to say sometimes I get why, but no. If that is if this is how crazy your mother is, you should be just as mad as this woman, and you should be wanting to protect your family just as badly as your wife does. That's just disgusting, nasty, grody McToady. Ew, I'm like so shook. Sorry, I haven't done a mother-in-law episode in so long, and I like forgot about them for a while until someone said that I should do another mother-in-law episode. So I was like, okay, let's do another mother-in-law episode. I used to do them like a lot, and now I'm remembering why I used to do them so often, because they're just so like entertaining, but at the same time disgusting, and I don't wish it upon anyone. Like, it's literally like your worst enemy, but she's your mother-in-law. Like, not the biggest villain in town. Like, why are you a literal villain from a superhero movie? That's what I'm confused about. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next story. The title is Mother-in-law Rushed to My Baby When My Husband Called for Mama. Hi everyone, I'm a first-time mom with an almost 1-year-old. During the newborn stage, my mother-in-law stayed with us to help, but it often left me feeling overwhelmed and hurt. Her comments and actions rubbed me the wrong way, and I felt dismissed or undermined at times. I communicated this with my husband, and it led to several intense conversations. I asked him to set clear boundaries with her, especially regarding respect for me as the mother. Fast forward to now, I've been trying to rebuild a relationship with my mother-in-law. I agreed to let her stay with us for 5 days, and we're now on day 4. I've been brushing off the small things for the sake of peace, trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. But something happened today that broke me a little. My husband was giving our baby a bath and called out, quote, "Mama, please come here. Bubba is finished." I was in the kitchen with my mother-in-law, and we both clearly heard it. I looked at her and then looked back to respond, literally about to say, quote, "Coming, just a minute." But she rushed to the bathroom before I could even get a word out, ran, as if she was mama. That moment hit me so hard, our eyes met before she darted off. She knew. I felt this gut-wrenching jolt that she knowingly took my place in that moment, and what hurts even more is that it didn't feel like a misinterpretation. It felt intentional. I don't know how to process this. I'm trying not to be overly sensitive, but my instinct as a mom tells me this was deeper than just a misunderstanding. It felt like a line was crossed. My gut tells me this, and I know I'm not overreacting. But God, it hurts so bad that I don't know what to do. I've talked to my husband about it, and he's pushing me to talk to her about it. No. No. Why you're I think your husband should be sticking up for you and like being not me making you deal with that situation. I am wondering if like I don't know. It's like the whole statement as a whole, "Mama, come here. Bubba is finished," is like, okay, how could you misinterpret that? He's obviously talking about the mom to Bubba, which would be the baby. But then again, it's like the son, does he call her mama? Has he called her mama? Would this actually be a misinterpretation? Or like, I don't know. See, this one, there could be like a little bit of a benefit of the doubt that like maybe she did actually misinterpret it, but she said that they looked at each other and like kind of knew and like interacted with their eyes. And then also at the same time, she said that a lot of comments and actions have rubbed her in the wrong way and she's felt dismissed or undermined at times. And they've had multiple intense conversations to set clear boundaries. So it's hard to believe that it was just a misinterpretation, you know? But at the same time, I also want to give the benefit of the doubt because that could be a misinterpretation and a misunderstanding, you know? Okay, someone said, "A firm excuse me, I'm mama would be appropriate. You have to start being blunt and you can't rely on DH to do it. Call her out every single time." Why do I not know what DH is? Dad, husband? Like, what is that? Why am I dumb? Someone said, "My adult children call me mama. If I heard my son call out, 'Mama, come here,' I would respond thinking he was talking to me. However, if I knew he was in a situation like this one, bathing a baby, and he hollered that out, I would probably respond with, 'Are you calling for your mama or his mama?' But then my son and I have a good relationship where I don't have a habit of stomping all over his and his girlfriend's boundaries. Given the fact that she ran there in order to get there first, leads me to feel that she knew exactly what she was doing and was hoping for deniability and confusion to keep her out of trouble." Yeah, I get that. I resonate with this. I don't resonate with this. What am I talking about? But I like kind of second this. I get it. Because the like situation as a whole, knowing the background and that like they've had problems, does make me think that I'm leaning more on the side of her doing that intentionally. Someone said it could be this, but most adult children say mom, not mama, and I have a feeling that if he does happen to call her mama, OP would know that and be torn between not knowing who he was calling for and adding that to her concerns about overreacting. And then someone said, I'm on the fence with this one. Does your husband call his mom mama? Mine does to this day, and it's natural. I know who he means when he says it. If you're both trying to mend the relationship and she seems genuine in her efforts, maybe this is an honest misunderstanding. I would communicate my feelings and see how she responds. Regardless of her going, your baby knows who his mama is. Remember that. And then someone responded to that and said, what? Why would her husband call for his mother to get the baby out of the bath? That's so obvious that he meant little one's mama, i.e. his wife. Well, I agree, but I also don't agree. Like, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he was saying mama. I don't know. I could see both sides, but at the same time, if the mother-in-law's crazy, then I'm sure. Then I'm sure that it was like not, I'm sure that she didn't misinterpret it. However, this one is definitely a little bit more like on the side of could possibly be a misinterpretation. The other two that we read were an absolutely not. No thanks, love. Oh my god, wait. Guys, okay. I wanted to those are all the stories I have for you today. I'm going to do an advice or a confession, and then I also with everything that's been going on about, the Charlie Kirk stuff, and I've talked about it on Patreon, and I also talked about it on another episode. I'm not sure if that episode will be posted before this episode or not, but my stance on gun violence is probably pretty clear. Like, I'm pretty left on mostly everything. So, yeah, I think we need more gun control and more gun reform, and I think that could have possibly been prevented. And I think it's really crazy. And I said this in the other episode. I think it's insane that people have been posting coming out of the woodworks. The amount of people I've unfollowed is actually insane because they're all like glorifying this guy that was not a good guy. He hated every minority ever. Every minority ever. He hated women. He was a misogynist. He thought women should just not have any rights. He extremely pro-life to the point where he said he would force his daughter, if she got raped at 10 years old, to have the baby, and that's insane to me. Many other things that he said. I've listened to so many of his debates solely for the purpose of like trying to see him, like I just want to see him getting owned by other people that know what they're talking about, because this guy, he wasn't a good person. And someone dying doesn't make them a good person. That doesn't mean that I'm celebrating the death. I would never do that. I think that it's pretty clear that I'm a pretty empathetic person and that I care about people, and I would never wish death upon someone, especially in that manner. The video was terrible. If you've seen it, don't go looking for it if you haven't. But I've been posting, as I always do. I like to post a lot of stuff about trying to spread awareness about a lot of things, especially when crazy things are happening like this. I always try my best to do whatever I possibly can with like my platform, my voice, protesting, all of that stuff. So obviously I've been posting about like gun violence and things like that, and how we need gun reform and how we need gun control, how we need more. And I just don't understand why it's so hard to understand that, of course, it's never going to be a perfect world. It's never going to be a perfect society. There's never going to be like a time where there's never someone dying by G violence, okay? I don't want to say the word too many times, but it's just common sense to me that putting more processes in place and regulations and making it harder to obtain a firearm just makes sense to me, that would reduce the amount of deaths. caused by firearms, okay? I just don't really understand why that's so hard for people to understand. Like, I don't understand it. It will never make sense to me, truly. But it's actually crazy because the reason that I'm talking about this is because I, like, I have a friend, okay? And we were like really good friends while I was going through my breakup like 3 years ago. And we were hanging out so often. And like, I know her brother is extremely red pill. And she never really talked about her views, but I kind of gathered that like she probably agreed with him because like, I don't know, you know? But I've always been very open about my views and always like talked openly about my views and been willing to like stand up for things, you know? Even in that like in that situation, even more so in that situation, like I don't agree with that. We would have conversations sometimes, like me and her brother, but she wouldn't really weigh in. Like I don't think she's very, I don't want to talk shit, but like she's very male centered. She cares so much about men, and maybe it's because she has like a lot of men in her life and her family. But every one of my friends that she's ever met, like my friends outside of her, she's been such a bitch to, and they've all came back to me saying that like she's such a bitch and they don't like her. And towards the end like of us hanging out, which nothing happened. I mean, I've talked about her on this podcast a couple times because she was like in a situation where she was going through something with the guy that she was talking to, and he was like being abusive towards her, and I was there to support her. And then they ended things, and she started being really mean to me for some reason. I don't know what it was, but like I kind of slightly cut her off at that point because she was being so rude, and I was like nothing but there for her and supportive of her. Like she would call me for 2 hours every single day, and I would talk to her and talk her through things. And of course, I don't think anyone owes me for that. Like I don't think she owes me anything for that, but at the same time, like she owes me kindness, you know? I think everyone owes their friends kindness. So I don't know. I don't know why she was being so mean. So I kind of like stopped talking to her. And then a couple months later, she apologized to me and we started hanging out again a little bit. But then it kind of fizzled out again after that. But nothing like happened. Nothing happened ever. We just haven't hung out in like years. And like that's fine. And I think it would be hard to rekindle that friendship anyways because all of my friends don't like her. She's not nice. And I don't know why she was nicer to me than everyone else. I don't know why. And also, like, I don't know if she's more political now or what. I don't know if she has more, like, stronger beliefs now or what. But we definitely don't align. And that's been made clear. And like that was not ever made that clear before. Like I genuinely didn't know what her stance was because she would never talk about it. She would never say anything about like her stance. And she would really only talk about guys, to be honest. She only talked about men. But it's crazy because I've been posting all the time. Like I always post every day. There's like honestly multiple times a week I'm posting about something. Like something to spread awareness about something. But of course this week it's been a lot of gun violence stuff. And of course, a lot of people have unfollowed me, especially after this, and all of these people coming out of the woodworks, like posting that this guy is like an inspiration, a true godly Christian man, which he was not, and fight me on that 100% because if that's a godly man and heaven is real, I want to go to hell. I do not want to be up there with so-called godly men that are terrible people. Like, that's crazy. That's what heaven is going to be filled with. Don't want to be there. Anyways, we haven't talked in literally like longer than a year, probably 2 years. Like we haven't even texted or anything. I haven't seen her. No like DMs, nothing. She randomly messages me on Instagram DMs, okay? Yesterday. The Charlie stuff happened the day before that. And that was when I posted everything. And then she is apparently thinking about me the next day at 11 a.m., sending me this, okay? Random ass article. Don't know, like, it's literally just a screenshot. Oop, can't really show that. It's literally just a screenshot with, and it's cropped. It's a cropped screenshot, okay? Don't know what's the source? I don't know. Couldn't tell you because she cropped it and just highlighted a certain part that apparently feeds her rhetoric of whatever. I'm going to read it to you just so that you know what it says because it's just so funny to me. It's from 2016, I guess. Despite all of those laws, or perhaps because of them, in most crimes committed with firearms, the firearms were obtained illegally, according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics in 2016. 90% of firearms used in crimes were not obtained legally by legal retail source. Only 1.3% of crimes, and there's like a thing that's blocking it, so I can't even read it. Something, their firearms legally from a retail source. Something, then 1% came from gun shows. See, I can't even read that. But the part you highlighted says, put another way, 98% of firearms used by criminals were obtained illegally. The report goes on to state that 20% of criminals who possessed a firearm during the commission of a crime obtained it with the intent to use it during the crime. And perhaps the most telling statistic of all, 21% of all state inmates nationwide were armed during the commission of their crime. She sent me that, okay? And the thing is, I'm not engaging with you. What's the point in engaging? Like, I would understand if she came to me and was like, hey, I would love to understand, your stance on firearms and why you think there should be more reform and all of that stuff. Like, if you were coming to me wanting to have like a civil conversation and wanting to understand my stance, because personally, my stance is not changing. I have fully solidified my views. This is not something that I would change my mind on, and hasn't been something I've changed my mind on. And I just don't understand, why would I engage with you on that, especially when you sent me a screenshot with no words. You didn't say anything. You didn't say one thing. You didn't say, hey, I just wanted to send you this, any message to go along with that. And what do you think I'm going to respond back? I could send you 20 articles right now that prove whatever your rhetoric is wrong, but do I want to do that? Do I want to talk to someone that is ignorant and that doesn't even want to hear my side of things and obviously has those views? What's the point? If I'm not going to change your mind, or if I'm not going to or if you're not going to see where I'm coming from, I don't really understand the point in engaging with that. And also, I haven't spoken to you in 2 years, and that's the thing that you send me. You're that upset that I'm fighting for the end to violence, and all of the posts I was not making any celebratory posts. I never once posted anything disrespectful towards the death of this man, okay? I was posting, it's the effing guns. I was posting, I never want anyone to die because of their views, even though I vehemently disagree with them, but this is what we've been fighting for. I posted one thing about what he said about the Second Amendment and how unfortunately there has to be a few deaths every year for us to get to have the privilege of, or have the right to bear arms, whatever, to have the Second Amendment, and how I disagreed with that. That was the whole post. I was just reposting these posts, okay? And then the other one, the last one that I posted was about the little kid that saved his friend and got on top of him and was in the hospital and blocked him from a shot. And then now he's at home recovering with his family. And I was that I love that. Good news. I want to share some good news as well, because always sharing bad news, unfortunately. But yeah, so apparently she felt necessary that she wanted to unfollow me. Apparently it was her last straw to see me post about a happy school shooting, or what? Not a happy school. No, a happy ending to the situation with the boys. Okay. That's what I posted. It says, Victor, the boy who laid on top of his friend to shield him from bullets during the Minnesota school, has been released from hospital and is recovering with his family. And then I knew for some reason, I was like, I know she's going to unfollow me after that. I know it. And then she did. She unfollowed me. And I was like, honestly, I unfollowed like so many people, but she didn't post anything like super crazy. She just posted like if people were posting just like something simple and not like something that was like glorifying him, I still was like, wow, where was your, where were your posts every day with everything else that's happening in the world? But now you're coming out of the woodworks. Like, that was still going on in my head, but I didn't unfollow them. But if you were posting like, this guy's a true inspiration, a true godly man, he's an American hero, he's this, he's that, like, he was so courageous, such a good man. If you were posting that, I'm sorry, but I unfollowed you. Like, I'm not going to follow you. I don't want that in my face. And like, I couldn't be further from what is the truth, and you're delusional if you truly think that. So yeah, I unfollowed you. And I didn't unfollow her because I was like, I didn't see the need to, because she didn't post anything that crazy. But apparently I did, because I'm fighting for the end of violence against children at the hand of firearms. It's really interesting how that was your last straw, but like, why are you, I don't know. I could go on and on and on, and I won't, but like, genuinely, I mean, I don't want to be friends with her anymore. Anyways, like, I don't want to be friends with someone like that. I don't want to be friends with someone who, I don't know. Whatever. I just know that her brother and her were probably talking so much shit about me, and they were like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, can you believe she posted this and this and this? Because they both unfollowed me. Like, okay. Oh my God, I'm at a loss for words. I can't believe I lost the two most red pill people in the world. No, she was never like super red pill, but she was always dating men that were really red pill. And her brother was also, but we never really talked about politics that much. But like, I just got that feeling. I didn't know her that well. We hung out a lot. We were very close for like a few months. We hung out all the time. But like, every time we hung out, we were doing something. We were never like having super deep conversations or anything like that. And I don't know. It's crazy. It's really crazy. I cannot even believe it. Really, it just makes me like, I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it, like, losing a friendship like that, you know? And all my friends now that I have in my life are anti-fascists. And I just bought a shirt that says that. All my friends are anti-fascists. Sorry. I don't want to make this like political, obviously, but yeah, sometimes I like to speak about my political views because it's my podcast. And I'll keep saying that. Seriously. And also, if something this big is going on and like something, I'm going to bring it up, I'm going to talk about it. And if you don't like that, then you can poop on my parade. I don't know why I just said that, but that makes no sense actually, but that's what was coming in my head, so I figured I would just say it out loud. But yeah, I just hope to foster a safe environment here, and I know not everyone's gonna like agree with all of my views, but I'm hoping that like 90% of my audience does, because that makes me feel safe, and I want to feel safe here, and I don't feel safe with people that are super conservative and have those beliefs. I don't feel safe with you. I don't feel safe around you. I don't feel safe having you watch my channel. Like, I really don't. And I would honestly rather you not, if you have views that line up with Charlie Kirk's views, to be so honest with you. I would rather not have the support of those people, because I don't agree. And I honestly feel like I feel like they wouldn't care if I died. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like, ugh. You know what I mean. I know who I'm safe with and I know who I'm not safe with. And I will be whatever. I'm just sick of the violence. I'm sick of the hate. I just want, I'm like that fucking girl from Mean Girls where it's just like, why can't we just all love each other with unicorns and rainbows? And then he's like, you don't even go here. That's literally, I'm that girl. And that's how I feel about the world. And it's unfortunately just getting worse every day. And it's really scary and sad. But that's why I want to build a safe community of people that accept and love people no matter what, no matter who, no matter how. Like, I don't want a community that fosters hate like that. I don't. And I truly think that that is what the community of Charlie Kirk's followers were. Like, everything I've watched of his are vile and disgusting. Like, the vitriol that he spews, and maybe people can say that he was respectful, but that is insane if that's respectful to you. Just because he wasn't yelling, or like, which I've seen clips of him yelling, but just because he wasn't yelling constantly or screaming or being super aggressive to make his point, the things that he was saying, like, I mean, how can you think that that is respectful? How can you genuinely think that that's respectful, saying that the only reason, like, the amount of comments he makes that are so racist. He thinks the only reason Kamala was picked for vice president was because she's black and a woman. Like, he thinks she has no qualifications other than that. And there's terrible other things that I'm not even going to repeat that he said about black women that are really crazy. Okay, but anyways, we're going to move on. We're going to listen to this voicemail. If you want to call and leave a confession or ask an advice question, the number is 561-264-7017. And it only goes for 3 minutes. So if you leave something longer than that and you need to keep going, just call back and keep leaving the voicemail. Okay, here we go.
Hi, Jamie. I love your podcast. We're like this. We're tight. Yes. When you say that, like, it feels like you're talking to your bestie girl, yes, it feels like that for us, too. Like, trust, we love you, Jamie. I listen to you literally every day of the week that you post, because I can wear my headphones that way. Anyway, that's besides the point. I came asking for advice about a situation. So I posted it on your subreddit, the full story. It's like, I think I titled it, what did I title it? Oh, my psycho ex is stalking me, or something like that. So it has to do with this story. I don't know if I made that too long or something. Like, I've literally never posted on Reddit. I just listen to Reddit stories, so it might have seemed like a bot posted it, the way I worded everything, but trust that was me. To make a very, I should say my Reddit username is, it's, sorry, I'm trying to, fit everything into this real quick. It's Repulsive Highway something, I don't know, Reddit chose it for me. But, so, to make a very long story short, got cheated on multiple times by this one dude a while ago, long time ago. And one of the one of the girls that he cheated on me with, he had actually been grooming her since she was 13, and so he was living at his best friend's house, and this was his best friend's little sister, who he would always tell me was like a little sister to him, like, oh, you want to fuck your sister? Oh, okay. So he was almost 2 years older than me, and so she was she was 3.5 years younger than him, which is 13 and 16. 13 and 16 when he started pressuring her for sex in her own home. Like, that's a little crazy to me. 3 years now, like, it all, like, it all depends on really, like, where you at in life. But to me, that's a little crazy. So boom, he was doing all that shit with her, like, other random girls. I go, like, way into it, on the Reddit post that I posted on your subreddit. And, so I posted it there, but basically what I'm asking is, how do I deal with this knowing that I literally can't do anything but get a 20-day restraining order in my state? Because he keeps on adding me here and there. It's like, it's been almost 2 years at this point from the last time that I talked to him. Okay, this is part 2, about the I have to leave another voicemail because I guess they'll only give me 3 minutes, like you said before. But, so boom. So, what I'm asking is, how do I cope with this? Because I literally can't do anything about it but get a 20-day restraining order in my state. Like, are you kidding me? Because if I go and I do the 1-year restraining order, here's the thing. I need these other people to testify. That other girl that he cheated on me with, I'm friends with her. And so she has reasons why she doesn't want to come forward. And I'm asking advice on how to just not resent her for that, because I was just like, it was almost like the movies when I found out everything about everything and we became besties. Oh, the 2 girls that like cheated on him teamed up against the man. Like, it's kind of like that cliche, and I loved it. Like, I love her, and like, we can connect on so many different things, but yet I think we view him differently, and so I think there is that disconnect. While I was 16 at the time, I'm 18 now, that I was with him. She was, either 15 or 14, I think. She just turned 17. So I'm not like good at math when it comes to other people's age. I don't know. But, so, and he was 18 when I was with him. So, I was only there, like, in it for, like, 6 months. She's been his back burner and telling her, like, oh, I'm just using her for sex. I'm just using her for sex. Like, we're not dating, things like that. And I'm basically putting her on the back burner, but then she would also hear me getting, like, essayed, and her best friend would be scared. But it's hard to not resent her for not, like, you're scared, but you also are hearing another woman or another girl, like, just, like, screaming and crying in the basement that you live in as well, just in the other room. It was her room. And, like, it's just, like, it's so hard. Like, for the longest time, that would never cross my mind, and now I'm just having second thoughts about her and her not wanting to come forward, and obviously she has her reasons, and they're valid reasons, because her family, she's going into family court for something, and the whole event and everything that he did to me happened under her roof when her parents were home. So it would reflect on her parents. So her reason on not wanting to come forward is valid, but how do I cope with it? I mean, the other day I saw that he added me on a new social media. He goes by my house at the same time every other day or so often, or sends one of his little gang members, whatever. And I just have been, like, so paranoid, and, like, I don't really feel safe. I need him to leave me the fuck alone, like, I need to leave. But I don't know how to cope with that, because I'm just sick, like, I'm, like, my dad and my boyfriend, are telling me to report it and everything, and that's good that I, like, make a statement because at least just, put it out there. So I called the police on him the other day when he added me again. Drag blocked him so many times. I don't know what the fuck he wants from me. It's like he's, like, playing mind games with me or something. I don't know. Or, like, I don't know. Get out of my head! Get out! But, yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, so, that's, like, really the only I can think of because it's a really, really long story. But, yeah, I love you. I love your podcast. You're awesome. You're amazing. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you. Okay, first, I think I agree. If you feel comfortable, I agree with your boyfriend and your dad. I definitely think that it's a really good thing to report it so that you have that, and that you, if anything happened, then that you would have that, and I think that could help to even build a case if needed in the future. As far as the friend goes, I understand what you're saying, and I feel like I get it, like understanding where she's coming from and her going through something with her family and like the family court and stuff, and it would look bad on the family. But at the same time, like, I don't think that means that you need to not resent her. I think it's valid to resent her, and I think that it's valid to be mad at her, and I think that honestly, like, you should take some time away from that friendship and try to work on healing a little bit, because I think that she's probably holding you back. And I think that it's also okay to not be friends with her. And I think that that's a valid reason to not be friends with someone as well. Although you see their side and you're empathetic with her not wanting to come forward, that doesn't necessarily make it right. And I think that her being a witness to that and hearing that and not coming forward is wild. And I think that I can understand, like, the thing is, I understand what you're saying, and I understand that, like, she's in a hard position, but, like, at the same time, it's hard to be on her side about that because of what happened to you. And I just can't think that that's okay. I can't think that that's okay to not come forward about something that serious because her family is, like, going through something, which I don't know. The thing is I don't know what, like, she's going through with her family and the family courts and stuff, but I think that it's okay for you to resent her. And I honestly, if the advice is, like, what do you do to not resent her? I do think that it is, like, a step of healing that you will eventually end up forgiving her. But if that's not now, that's okay. And I think that you should focus on yourself and focus on your own healing and not think about how it's affecting that friendship. And I just don't really think that friendship is really worth it. Like, I think that that's not a good friend. And yeah, I just don't support her not coming forward. I just don't, and I can't. And I just don't see that being the right thing to do. And I think that if it were me, but I know that it's hard to 100% say because I don't know what she's going through with her family. And I just think that if I heard that and I was a witness to that, I would do anything I possibly could, especially if it were my friend, but even if it were a stranger, to come forward and try to help you get justice. And yeah. I think that's all. You were asking, I'm pretty sure. Oh, him, if you can, and if you, like, would feel safer getting the restraining order, I definitely would. And I think that probably would help as well, as getting that restraining order to build more of a case, just in case, like, you could end up getting a longer one or something. I don't know the laws. I don't know, like, laws or details about that kind of stuff, so it's a little bit hard because I have no idea, like, how you get a restraining order, what that even entails. I know that it can be kind of hard sometimes, and definitely report like him stalking you as well, even though there's probably nothing that like the cops can do about it, but at least you could make the report that he constantly is coming by your house. Like if you can are able to like get a Ring camera or something so that you can record him coming by your house and you have proof that he's coming by your house and video, and you also could use that as protection, the Ring camera, even though I've heard crazy things about Ring cameras and like they're kind of scary sometimes because people can break into them or something. I don't know, but there's probably ways that you can get around that and be a little bit more safe. But I'm really sorry that that happened to you, and he sounds like a terrible person. And I love you as well. And thank you so much for calling in, and thank you so much for taking the time to leave that voicemail and be vulnerable and tell your story. And I love you so much, and I hope that you find peace and healing within this situation. And I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm so happy that you're alive, and I'm so happy that I can be there through you listening to my podcast every day, because that's all I hope and wish for. And I love you so much. And also, this is the end of the episode, so I love you all so much, and thank you so much for watching. Leave comments, obviously, about the advice segment if you have better advice than me. As you know, be kind always, and love you. Bye. Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.